Northway. Some Class 87 models I'm having a look at today. See what you think. 87005 City of London. This is a Lima model. Lima, L-I-M-A, were an Italian company. Lavori Italiani Metalli e Affini. Originally, this company metalworks, but in the 1970s they started making model railways, and from 1979 onwards they made this model, Class 87, and they made loads and loads and loads of them, and they're great models actually. I mean, nice glazing you would say, and they've kind of got them moulded in windscreen wipers and a nicely bit of detail moulded at the front, which I've actually painted and highlighted a bit. One of the criticisms is this is actually moulded in yellow plastic, and the blue is painted over, and the yellow plastic is very plasticky looking, and if you don't do something about the cab, the yellow ends are not painted and they look very, very plasticky. Another thing about this model is the pantograph, and oh God, sorry. It's a very sturdy, well-made pantograph. Good spring-loaded, but it doesn't look right. This is the pantograph that would have appeared on the 1500 DC locos on the Manchester to Sheffield line, the Class 76s as they became. The cross-arm pantographs on the Class 87s were different, as I'll show you in a minute. The Lima Class 87s had a ring-filled motor, 3-pole ring-filled motor, very good but very noisy. In 2004 Lima went bust and Hornby bought the jigging and tooling for a lot of their models, one of which being the Class 87. Now the actual moulding of the body of this model is very good, so Hornby kept that. They also kept the glazing with the moulded in windscreen wipers, and the detailing on the roof with the copper wire, but they put in a new motor, which is a terrific motor. It's a 5-pole skew wound motor. I don't know the exact number of it, but very good slow running characteristics. In fact, overall, a great model. R2772. You can't get all that many of them, you know. Quite rare nowadays. They run very nicely. Well, what I've done with 87007 City of Manchester is I put my own pantograph on. This is kit built. I got the kit from a company called Judith Edge Kits. It was a great challenge. Well, you can see all that. I made 2 videos which feature it. The original R2772 2 would have appeared as 87004 Britannia, or 87010 King Arthur. Britannia was in the blue livery, like City of Manchester we're looking at here, and King Arthur was in the intercity livery. They only made this model for 2 years, between 2008 and 2010. Here is another R2772. This is 87001 Royal Scot. This has got the original pantograph that came with the model. Now there's nothing wrong with this pantograph. It's posable. It's a little bit spring-loaded, not much, but it's very delicate, as you can see by the plastic construction, but it looks the part, doesn't it? It's accurate. Now you can't have everything. You can't have your precision, you can't have your detail, and have strength at the same time. Well, maybe you can, but it's very difficult. And you've got to keep the cost of these models down. So I don't have any complaints about this pantograph. Some people say they are flimsy looking. But you've just got to treat them with respect. And there's nothing wrong with it, in my opinion. I've done a bit of work on Royal Scot. New wipers, new glazing, flush glazing that is. Fitted some lights. So, I'm quite pleased with that. In 2018, Hornby brought out their brand new, completely retooled Class 87. I watched a video where somebody said, oh, the reason you can get these cheap is because it's really a Class 86. I mean, why would you say that? There seems to be kind of an anti-Hornby feeling, that Hornby can't do anything good. But this is a perfect model, in my opinion. I bought this when it first came out, 2018, and it's been a wonderful model. This is the cross-arm pantograph I was telling you about. That's what it should look like. And this is spring-loaded. It's got the detail, it looks the part, treat it with respect, and it's just what you want. Now this same other video that I was watching was criticising the performance of this model. But just look at this. Firstly, just look at Robert Burns going at a slow speed. How beautifully smooth in the operation is that? I felt I had to make a video called Putting the Record Straight, because this other video to which I have made reference was saying that the operation of this model was poor. Well, I've got it on the minimum setting, and look, it's hardly moving. I mean, do you want it to go any slower? The video, which shall remain nameless, but it's particularly bothered me because it was a clashing gong of ignorance by somebody who claims to be a great expert. He was in this video reviewing the model of the Class 87, which is in the National Railway Museum in York, which on one side is named Royal Scot and on the other side is named Stevenson. But he didn't know that. Also, in his video he pointed to some text on the back of the Hornby box in which it explained all about that. But he claimed to know nothing about it. This is why I'm getting particularly worked up about the ignorance it displayed in that video by somebody supposed to be an expert. Well, I don't want to get into a slanging match. I don't want to say anything too vitriolic. So I'm going to shut up now and we're going to run some trains.